Okay. Any questions or anything? I mean, it's only week 2, so hopefully it's not too many questions. All right. Anybody got any questions on the grades and what they got for a grade on the LE, or any questions about whatever? No? You didn't check the grades yet? All right, well,
You're fast.
what, grading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to stay on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want
I
it to
appreciate-
come bite you in the back of the head. I have a lot of things to do, so if I can get the grading done, but you guys are good, because a lot of you turn, like there's 4 entries already for this week. So that helps me. I go in and grade it. The quicker you get it in, easier it is for me to grade. And then, by the time the end of the week comes, no big deal, all right? So I think you like it too, get your grade back faster, get some feedback, and integrate it into some other things. So it works both ways. So we both benefit. Okay, so keep doing it. Turn it in early. Okay. What else? I think that's it. So week 2, week 3, don't forget, oh shit, I forgot to unlock I will do that. Unlock the groups so you can see them, unless you can see them already. Can you see them now? Yeah. You can see them? Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Right, the case study, no, yeah. But you can see the groups though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you can see the groups, that's all I want right now. I'll open up the case study options probably next week. So you can have an idea. You have 2 weeks to kind of look it over, check it out. And then it's not due till week 5.
And when is that thing, that title?
That's next week. That's week 3. Classification, okay? All right, that's it. Anything else? All right, okay, so this week, PowerPoint's not too long, about 20-25 slides or something like that, right? And what we're gonna be looking at is, what drives change, right? What makes people change, or what makes companies change? What's the need? What are the things that prompt a change within an organization, right? Because a lot of times we don't necessarily get to see what's going on in a company, as consumers or being external to the organization, we don't really know what's going on inside. And so we don't really know why there's certain changes going on, and we don't keep up with everything that's going on, right? Because especially there's so many things that affect organizations. And so there's a wide band, there's a wide band of variables that go into, okay, why do we change, okay? So from your perspective, just as a person, right, or someone who's worked for a company, why do you think companies change, or why do you change? What influences you to change?
The market.
The market, okay.
Yeah.
Demand, okay.
Competition.
Competition, okay. What else?
Traffic.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, all right.
Customer.
The customer, okay.
Create new needs.
Create new needs. Yeah. Kind of goes with creating new revenue,
Change of technology.
changing technology, right? Okay. So when it comes down to change, right, all those answers are correct, right? They all kind of come together and they kind of look the same because we kind of categorize them the same, right? But at the end of the day, it's either an external thing or internal thing, right? And so what's really the difference between an internal circumstance and an external circumstance?
Manager will feel can order external, but internal sometimes from inside happen. From the member, we will see you change.
Okay, that's close.
I think we can go for something I can change and something I cannot change.
Okay, there you go, right? So internally, we have control. Right, the company has control, the leadership has control, the people have control, and the population, the workforce, they are the ones really kind of influencing the change, okay? Either they're not performing well, or they are performing well, or somebody within the company made a mistake, or CEO or COO, vision's not correct, or vision is super great, whatever the case may be, right? The internal control, internal circumstance we can control. The external things we cannot control, right? The government, Can't control the market, all right? Can't control socioeconomic issues. You can't control natural resources. You can't control the weather, right? And you would think that that's not a big deal, but it is all a big deal, right? It's all important as to planning purposes, right? Because if I have internal change or internal things that are pressures that I'm dealing with, I can make a plan with 100% certainty that I can follow this plan through and that this plan will hopefully address the issues I have, right? When external issues come up, it's really hard to say with 100% certainty that this change is going to work, right? All you can do is plan for the possible pressure, possible, circumstance, but you can't say with 100% certainty that you can actually control anything about it. Okay, it's just a matter of I got a plan, and hopefully, if it happens, my plan kicks in, and I'm good to go. Okay, the problem with that is that if you didn't plan correctly, all right, because you didn't do good analysis, you're going to end up with a bad plan, all right, for a certain situation that's not going to fit. Yeah, that's the first thing. Secondly, when you talk about external, pressures, you don't know how much they're going to cost. Okay, and you don't know where it's coming from exactly. Right, and so it be coming from, anywhere really. So the external plan is something that is really dynamic in nature. Right, you have to be ready for it to change. Internal plan also, but your external plan is a little different because again, there's so many variables out there that you cannot control, that you can't really foresee, and you still have to have a plan in place, right? Usually, when you guys know I was in the military for a long time, and one of the things that we did when it came out to decision making is that we had to make a kind of set of rules. Okay, most people they want to get 100% of the information possible to make a decision. Right? Doesn't work that way in the military. Okay, if you have 40%, 50% information, you make a decision based on that. Okay, whether or not it's going to turn out correctly or be the right decision, I don't know, but I'm working off of what I have, right? And this is what happens when you have external pressures, right? Companies work with what they have. They can't foresee the future. And so I have to make a plan that is going to address what I know now, right? And potential scenarios that may arise based on the situation, right? Think about NASA, right? Or even Elon Musk and sending up, a rocket to the moon or something like that, right? Do we really know what happens up there, right? No, not really, right? We have ideas, we have speculation. We don't know who's out there or what's out there, really, right? To make it up there, and the next thing you know, there's another civilization up there, or there's some alien craft that comes and just, hey, we want to talk, or whatever the case may be, right? There's a plan for that. Okay, but it may not be the best plan because again, we don't know what we're dealing with per se. Okay, so when we talk about external pressures, it really is important to understand that you don't have any control over it, but you still need to have a plan in place. Okay, and so when you put that plan together, one of the important criteria is that you have to figure out who's putting the plan together. Okay, and last week we talked about images. We kind of went through a little bit, but there's images of change, right? There's different people that play different roles within the organization when you're trying to change something, right? We talked about informal leaders. Like there's a positional leader, somebody that is for sure like that's the boss, right? But then there's this other guy or gal who's been here 20 years who knows everything, right? They're not the boss, but that's who you go to when you have a question, when you need help with something, right? And so that person plays a different role. They might be a navigator. They might be a caretaker. They might be a nurturer. They might be an influencer. They might be, whatever one of the faces is, right? But based on what face is leading the change, that will determine what kind of approach you have to your change, okay? Because we all have different skill sets. We can bring different things to the party, okay? And so not all of us are sociable in the sense of I don't want to talk to people all the time. That's just me. I'm not a talker. I'm sociable, but you have to engage me. If you don't engage me, I'm not gonna talk to you. That's just me, all right? There's other people, you can't shut them up. Okay, they're very social, it's great, right? But maybe you're not a talker, right? You ever sat next to somebody on a plane and you're trying to sleep and it just yeah all day in your ear, all right? To the point you fall asleep and they're still talking. Okay, that's just not your personality, that's not your vibe, right? But that person wants to talk. So because of the type of person I'm dealing with, I'm gonna have to build a plan that is to their strengths. Right? I don't want somebody who's gonna be leading my change, and I don't know what kind of person is leading the change. I don't know what their personality is. I don't know what their strengths are. I don't know what their weaknesses are. I need to figure that out before I decide, okay, you're gonna be the face of my change, all right? You're gonna be the advocate for change here, the change leader. But I need to know what type of person you are, because then that plan that I put together is going to leverage your strengths. Okay, it's going to leverage the fact that maybe you're more charismatic than you are intellectual per se. All right, and think of somebody like a Bill Clinton. Everybody familiar with Bill Clinton, right? Bill Clinton, former president,
Yeah, president.
way back.
1990.
Yeah,
1994.
yeah, something like that. All right, all right, knows. All right, and so somebody like that who's intelligent, he's extremely intelligent, but he's more charismatic. All right, he's more somebody that you talk to, people like him, right? Even though he's kind of, does some shady stuff, people still like him because he's very personable, he's very sociable. So there's a different approach to what I would have as compared to Hillary Clinton, his wife, who's not necessarily as social. She's not necessarily as approachable and friendly, right? She doesn't like to necessarily be out in the limelight a lot, okay? She's gonna have a different approach of how she handles change, right? For the organization, how she handles change for the country. If she became president, it'd be a different mindset, okay? And so you have to kind of look at the different presidents and look at their different styles and figure out, okay, what's the best way for me to leverage this person's particular talents, right? President Obama, great speaker, right? Very good speech giver, right? But, sometimes on other things, so, but he built his administration to leverage his particular skill set. Okay, and this is what we really have to look for when we look at managing change and what each different image of change, what is it that they look for as drivers of change? Okay, what is it that sticks out for them, right? So if we look at the director, right? Director, that person thinks the result of change is strategic pressures, right? And it's controllable by managers, right? But if you think about a director, someone who has that title, they probably have some level of experience, probably, 10, 15 years under their belt. They probably have some authority, okay? Some ability to delegate, okay? Their position of power, right? So for them, it's easy to say, yes, I can control the managers, right? I can control what's going on because of the position they're in, right? But the people that work for them, they can't say that. I can't say I can control the policy of the school. I can't say I can change certain things. It's just things that I have to deal with because that's the rules that the school made up, okay? As a director, right? Or as a coach, okay? I have a certain way that I look at change, right? I see change as something that is good for you, that I can develop, that I can help guide you in, right? And if that's the person that's leading my change, I say, hey, coach, I need some help. Okay, well, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do activities, or we're gonna do it in a way that is kind of a team building type activity, right? Instead of just let people kind of do their own thing, I'm always gonna bring everybody in together and we're gonna talk and collaborate, all right? We're not gonna just sit there individually and say, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, we're gonna come in and it's gonna be a democracy. We're gonna have a democratic process of how do we prioritize different things that we want to change, right? Where do we spend money at? How do we set schedules up? All that kind of stuff, right? But again, it goes back to the image, right? The person that you have here as your kind of your person, okay? All right. So as we look at the person, right, and we look at different change drivers, right? Why a company would change. And we talked about some of them already, right? You guys already said revenue stream, demand, the market, economy, different things that go on, right? But internally, right, when we look at it, right, there's a couple of things here. Low performance, high staff turnover, right, is one of them, right? It goes back to how was my workforce performing? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Okay, is getting your workforce to produce at a high rate and be efficient about it. Okay, because if they don't do well, you're not going to do well. It doesn't matter. Okay, I don't care where you go, what you're doing. If your workforce doesn't understand what the mission is, how they should be comporting themselves with decorum, if they don't do their job well, guess what? Your company's going to fail. Okay, so you have to understand it. Hey,
Excuse me, I got a couple more students for you.
okay, come on in.
So I'll see you for a moment, okay? All right.
Hey, please take a seat. Sit down. Okay, so there's organizational politics, whatever you want. There's organizational politics, right? There's product service innovations that we kind of talked about. So there's a bevy of things that happen internally that we have to take into consideration that's going to drive this change, right? Between the workforce, right, driving change, what's something else that drives change? I have the human resource part of it, but what's the ultimate driver of change for organizations, for companies? What do you think? No? What is your ultimate driver of change? Why are you changing? Why are you trying to get better? Aside from self-development.
To show the best of us.
Yeah, so yeah, show the best of us. That definitely is one, right? The what?
The market.
The market, what do you mean by the market?
To become the leaders in the category.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but why do I want to become the leader? Money, okay? I like I say in all my classes, follow the money. Okay, the money is always gonna be the driver, not gonna be anything else, okay? Even though workforce is a driving force, right? It's a driving force because guess what? They're not doing well because it's affecting the money. Okay, that's the bottom line, right? So you gotta always keep that in mind, right? What is really the end state of the company? Yes, it's to, be the market leader and get the most market share and, grow the company and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, it's money, right? I need to pay people. I need to make money, okay? And so in order to do that, I may need to change a few things, okay? And I may be forced to change things that I don't want to change, okay? Especially internally when I have, so product and service innovation is an interesting one to me because it has internal and external impacts, okay? This is really driven externally, sort of, okay? In most companies, except for a few, okay? If you think about Apple or Google or any tech company really, they're always in R&D, okay? They're always trying to do something new, cutting edge, the latest and greatest, right? But why? Why are we trying to do the latest and greatest in the company internally?
Because they control the market.
Because they control the market, okay? Money, yeah, no, definitely money, right? It's definitely money, but what is it that we're trying to really satisfy?
Be the number one.
Say that?
Be the number one.
Yeah,
To
you guys said it before.
To maintain their position as the top.
No, same thing. The customers, okay? The customer. You don't want to make something nobody wants to buy, right? So the demand is always about the customers, right? What we do inside internally is affected by what's going on outside. Okay, why is it that we're doing R&D on this particular thing? Because guess what? We know that the market wants it. The market would pay for this. Okay, so Apple is a company like that, where Apple is driven internally because of Steve Jobs and kind of his mindset and they're always looking to stay ahead, right? But they're also driven by the market. by the consumer, right? Because if the consumer doesn't want it, then there's no point in selling it. But Apple is one of those weird companies where they force stuff on you. Okay, earbuds. Did anybody want earbuds before Microsoft thought about them? No, nobody really wanted earbuds. I was fine with my wired thing and I was good. Okay. Now I got, I don't have earbuds, not Apple anymore. I can't afford it. I'm not that rich. Okay. But people have the earbuds. But what does that do that you have to buy earbuds? What does that do for Apple? What does that do for you?
Because
They make a difference, they change the market from the line to make it easy on the customer.
Okay, all right, convenience, okay.
like why they forced you to buy those?
Yeah, why?
Because before they were used to give like, ear, like, the wire ones.
Yeah.
Now they don't give in the box.
Right, don't give, okay,
People have a tendency or they need something. It's just like trend also.
okay, but expand on that, like further. All right, yes, and they still provide you with the little wireless.
No,
No, they don't do it anymore?
only the phone now.
Oh, only the phone, no
No
headphones,
charger.
no jack? Oh, that's right, no charge, yeah, no, yeah, they give you a charger though. No? No,
nothing.
huh? See, I learned this, I bought a phone.
To buy separately.
Yeah, you have to buy, you know why you have to buy a new charger, right? Why do you have to buy a new charger?
Because it's more cost.
No,
You don't need to buy a new one unless you don't have.
Unless you don't have,
there's a reason why you're buying a new one.
has a better quality, like to charge
Faster.
Yeah, it's different.
different voltage.
It's a USB-C.
No, it's coming, yeah.
That's what the Apple has a USB-C.
USB-C is from September. this
Yeah.
year.
Oh, no, is that what you use now?
No,
Yeah,
not
USB-C, right?
No,
What is it now?
the regular.
No.
It's not USB-C charging.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They different.
yeah.
Both options.
Yeah, you have both options. Yeah, you can use, but Apple uses USB-C now. It still looks like a brick, but it's a bigger brick. It's like this big and wide and it has smaller connections, but that's a USB-C.
It's not about the other, sorry for that.
Was that?
It's not that by regulation from other, this is from the law by the country. They want and provide this service for all the companies. You must use type C instead of type B or type A, because you want to make it the same all.
Okay,
I'm integrated with.
to a certain degree, yeah.
Field, so
Yeah.
that's why.
To a certain degree right now, yeah, eventually they're gonna make you buy
But you can use
USB-C,
whatever you want.
but you can still use whatever you want. Like, but aside from that, right? Why is it that you buying AirPods important to you or Apple
Make it easy to use.
to use, right? To use what? How?
It's a service from Apple. It's a thing that will make your life easier.
Okay, all right. So what is Apple's premise here? What is Apple's main goal?
Customer satisfaction.
Customer satisfaction, okay? So how do they do that?
To connect all the people around you. It's called like, I forget the name, but this is called like,
They try to make the change.
Mhm.
oh,
Okay.
The market.
Yeah, this is where the connect is the right path, right? What is, anybody here have a Mac, have like a MacBook?
yeah.
Yeah,
When you use many or multi brand with the same name, it's called, this is name I can't remember.
Loyalty.
No,
no, it's just it's a networking.
Speed,
it's not networking.
What is it?
It's about to, when you have like IoT. in your
Connectivity,
house.
Internet of Things, IoT,
Not IoT in general.
Yeah.
You can use the TV from Samsung and the refrigerator from Samsung.
Okay,
You can buy
all right.
from Samsung.
It's connectivity.
This is called something, I can't remember.
Okay. I know what you mean, but that's exactly where I'm going with it. Yeah,
So this is the goal for the
Yes.
company. They
That's-
compete with other products.
Right.
category masters,
what is it?
category masters.
Uh,
They used to say something like that. There's a word like
Um,
to say like.
Either way,
Like, if
What,
for-
go ahead.
suppose Samsung is good in refrigerators, if we say, and Apple is good in phones, so they say those things like. I don't know the word.
The point is that Apple has a plan because they're trying to build connectivity, but for you, right? They want you to buy the AirPods because it connects to the phone, it connects to the laptop, which connects to something else. But it's an Apple universe, sort of, okay?
Ecosystem.
Okay, ecosystem, yeah, okay. So that's perfect, right? So they want you to be in the Apple ecosystem, okay?
Right.
But there's a reason why they want you to do that, right? There's a reason why it's hard to get off-brand Apple products.
To control the.
Because if I buy just watch Apple Watch, it's not gonna connect to different, it's only gonna connect with my Apple phone.
Okay,
So everything's are related, like if I buy just AirPods, they're not gonna connect with Android.
right? No, I'm not gonna connect with
They
it.
added unique,
They had what?
they make unique.
They make you need it, right? Did you ever know that, did you ever think you needed AirPods? Did you ever think you needed the
No.
connectivity? No,
From
right?
my point of view, they want to like take all your money to their side,
Mhm.
not to other companies.
Right. They want you to stay loyal, right?
Yeah.
They want you to get addicted.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, that's what they want. They want you to get addicted. Okay, because you have AirPods. Guess what? You're gonna get the iPhone. You get the iPhone. You're gonna get the Mac. You got the Mac. You're gonna buy everything else to watch.
You're
Right.
connected
The
everything
wallet,
with iCloud.
the wallet.
Right, iCloud, right?
Even the wallet.
The wallet, right?
Apple Pay.
Everything's connected, right? And so Apple, this is their plan, okay, to create a universe. This is why the App Store is so successful, right? If you compare the Apple App Store to the Samsung App Store, or whatever they call it, the Samsung, the Droid, Play Store, yeah, it's not even the same. It's not even close, right? Okay, and so you have to really pay attention as to how the external or the demand that's coming in externally, how that affects internal operations. And Apple just happens to be one of those weird companies where they just give you stuff. Okay, and you didn't realize you wanted it.
Closed source.
Yeah, yeah. All right, they just give it to you like here, and you're like, oh, I didn't know I like this. Okay, but it also does something else for Apple. What does it do as it relates to change? What does it do for Apple as it relates to change?
Again,
What does it do for Apple as it relates to change?
if you want to change their products,
No, when Apple, the way they have it all, the ecosystem set up, why is that helpful for them when it comes down to change management?
because the change will apply to all appliances.
Okay,
Change in
yes. So basically, the change can just be done very simply, sort of, right? I don't have to change a whole lot of things if everything's kind of the same, right? If everything's connected, I know that I can change one thing. Yes, it's gonna impact the other things, but it's a much easier change than having to change a bunch of different things. Okay? It just bang, hey, AirPods, all right, what are you gonna do this time? We're gonna take out the headphones, or we're gonna take out the home button. Okay, how's that gonna affect everything else? Well, just a minor change here, minor change here. Okay, cool. And we're gonna be good, right? Apple doesn't worry about everybody else. Apple could care less if your Mac connects to even to the TV. I have to have a special adapter to hook the HDMI up to the TV, right? But not on my PC, right? I have a PC at home and it's easy, but on the Mac, I have to have special adapters, okay? It builds another revenue stream for them, okay? Because now you have to buy all this other stuff, right? Lightning, this thing cost me $5 or $10 or something like that. I have another thing that I use for VGA, right? Everybody from a VGA, different type, yeah. There's another type of connector you need for that, okay? And so when it comes down to change, specifically for Apple and for other companies that are somewhat similar, right? The change is a little bit easier for them, right? The change is not about necessarily what you want. It's about how can I change it internally to make it easy for me, right? Apple probably more than likely, yes, they changed a couple of things because, people wanted it and it was a better design. But what do you think they really changed it for? Why do you think that the change happened in Apple in certain things? In any company? Hmm? Come on in.
In general, in other companies, not Apple,
Mhm.
to show you what to do. Keep up with the trends.
Yeah, keep up with the trends.
The
Okay.
global trends.
Yeah, that's definitely important, all right? But let's go back to the money piece. It's probably cheaper, all right? As we get more innovative and technology is advancing, things are becoming cheaper to produce, right? Remember when,
Talk about Starbucks.
what about Starbucks?
When we talk about Starbucks
What about it?
and the manufacturing, how they.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's cheaper. It's cheaper for them to build the facilities in the host country than to get the beans and bring them back over here. And no, it's just better for us to be there present and process the beans that we need in Africa, Brazil, Colombia, wherever they're getting their beans from, Guatemala, wherever they're getting their beans from, right? Apple's the same thing. Yes, we want to innovate. Yes, we want to produce new products and introduce new products to the market, but do they make sense financially? Is the change going to impact the bottom line? Okay. Remember we talked about last week about, do you need to change? That's the first question you should ask when you talk about change and trying to develop things. Do I need to necessarily change? Is what I'm doing broke? Or is it eventually going to be broke? Right? That's the major question that most companies ask. The next one is, how much is this change gonna cost me? Okay, not only in dollars, but in human capital. Because I may need to get rid of some people. I need to maybe retrain people. I need to hire new people, right? Depending on what's going on, depending on the change. I was talking to a friend of mine and he had this business plan about something, right? But he was telling me the business plan, he was asking me for my advice. And I read the business plan, and I said, man, this doesn't sound like you. He said, no, I use Chat GPT. I said, oh, okay, that's great, okay. But then I was like, well, what does that number mean? What does this number mean? What does that number mean, right? And he really couldn't tell me, okay? He really couldn't explain to me, like, what's 3%? What does that equate to? I know what percentage changes, but what is the raw value of that 3%? Okay, I need to see that. At the end of the day, sometimes the change is not necessarily the best thing. Okay, he should have just stuck with writing it on his own and kind of, figuring out. Okay, the change is not always necessary, and so you have to be careful not to kind of fall into that hole. Right, personal change is one thing. All right, developmental change within ourselves, we can always evolve and do better as people. All right, as a person. But when you talk about organizational wise, there's some changes that you just don't need to make, right? You don't need to keep up with every trend or every, hot thing that's going, okay? Like you don't need the pants that are up here and the shoes that are big and the hair and all the crazy outfits you see, and then next week it's something different, right? The change is not necessary, right? And so that's one of the first things you have to really evaluate is what's driving the change. Is the change necessary? How long is the change gonna last? Is it a permanent change? Is it temporary? Right? Is this something that is more of a generational change, right? Like Generation X, baby boomers, or Generation Z or millennials, right? Are they looking for a change that is not gonna apply to anyone else? And should I invest in that change? Right? So you don't necessarily need to always do that stuff, right? The other thing that is important is, and you see sometimes happen in accidents and scandals, right? And so sometimes you'll see a company go through something and they won't change anything. And you're like, why would they change? Like they just got in trouble for X, Y, Z, and they still haven't changed their policies or whatever the case may be. So in many instances, one, it's probably too expensive to change, right? It's probably just cheaper just to kind of take the hit and try to fix it along the way. Two, it may not look good as an image, right? Its reputation, to make certain changes, right? Because as much as people want to say they're independent thinkers or they're, you know, they don't care what people think, you can't really have that perspective as a business owner. You have to care about what people think, right? Because you want people to come into your establishment, you want people to, you know, patronize your store, right? But at the same time, you have a certain view. then, you know, that will
Please, I'm
prohibit-
outside. I can't come in.
Well, we're outside too. Nikki, mute your camera, I mean your phone or speaker, whatever.
I've been trying to come in for some time. I've just been standing outside. The door is locked.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. She's coming right now. Oh, he's coming right now, okay? You calling me? That making sense.
No, Doc, I'm saying I've been outside standing here for some time. I don't know. The door is not opening.
Yeah, it locks after a certain time. You know, we're coming to get you.
She's never to to talk to us.
Oh, this is not the first time. Students do this all the time. They'll come in Zoom and, hey, I'm outside.
Yeah.
Okay, come get you. Okay, I don't know why they lock the door like that, but it happens. Okay, so sometimes, you know, companies look like they need to change, but they don't, okay, for a variety of reasons. Typically, money, typically, you know, government regulations, something is prohibiting them from changing. Maybe it's too difficult. Maybe internally they still have some things to sort out, right? And so they don't change, okay? All right, so let's look at some environmental pressures or external pressures for change, okay? One of the major pressures or, you know, kind of factors for change. Yay!
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I rescued her.
You rescued her, good man, all right? Technology, okay? I can't understate or overstate how important technology has been in our society, okay? And if you look at even at the beginning of the century or 20th century, right? 1900s up until 2000, right? We had remarkable change, right? We have from the radio to TV to motion pictures to, you know, tape recorders to DVDs to CDs, right? We had a lot of change, right? And so that affected the society, that affected our demographic, that affected how we buy things or what we like to do our day-to-day lives, right? But now we're in a different environment, okay? Now change of technology has really just impacted everything we do, okay? From the way we bank to the way we communicate with each other, right? That could have never happened 5 years ago.
Everything integrated with
Right.
technology.
Nigga would have been outside the whole time, knocking on the
We
door.
don't have the technology to lock the door either.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the technology to lock the door, okay? We wouldn't have Zoom, we wouldn't have anything, okay? So the technology is a huge driver of change, right? So much so that we're talking about ChatGPT, we're talking about, you know, Wally, Dolly, all these other platforms, right? That are changing how we do business. Chat boxes, right? Automated phone call or directories or customer service, right? You can do whatever you want from home, basically shopping, okay, playing games, buying stuff, buying groceries, Instacart, okay? It's changed a whole lot, right? And you may not think of it as a big life changer because many of you have, you know, kind of grown up with it, right? To some degree, okay? But there's some of us that didn't grow up with all these particular things, right? This technology. And so you see the impact of it, not only on your day-to-day lives, but emotionally, psychologically, mentally, right? How it impacts your relationships, okay? So technology has had a really huge impact on how organizations do business. And what is the most important thing about technology in business? What does technology really help to facilitate?
To make it easy to grow up or to finish your things.
Yeah, I mean, it builds efficiencies. Yeah,
It gives you like more time to be able to do whatever you want.
yeah, it gives you some time. I get it. Yeah.
Make
Okay.
the business more closer to customer.
What do you mean more closer to the customer?
So I'm not like before 10 years, I should to go to the company and finish all the things
Mhm.
to be like there to finish it. But now.
I got
can
you,
do
okay,
it.
you can do it remotely,
Yeah.
okay, so it kind of goes along the line, kind of convenience, right? Making it easier, getting to things faster, right? But there's one thing that technology has really facilitated, for companies that we did before, but not at this particular pace, not at this volume.
To monitor the competition in the industry.
Not monitor the competition, but monitor another group. Like when you go to the store, all right? And you go to the register and you scan your products, what happens? Like I'm buying toothpaste and I go to the register and they scan it,
Then you pay.
then I pay, right? But what's happening?
Our inventory is going down.
The what?
The inventory is going down.
Yeah, inventory is going down, right? But what's happening? What's happening?
Making profit.
Yeah, maybe making revenue.
It's about like, make everything electronic.
Or the customer. is-
Automate, okay, automation, yes, automation, all right. But there's something more important going on here.
It's make it easy to the same company, because when you scan it, it will be one mist in the stores, and everything will be calculated on the same system.
Okay, you're close,
Data.
Data, there you go, data, right? Everybody's heard of big data, okay? That's what technology really has pushed to another level. The amount of information that's collected on each one of us is ridiculous. Okay, it doesn't matter where you go to the gas station, you're here in class, right? On Zoom, all right? I know where you're at. I know what time you were here. I know where your car is at. I know like when you're gonna go home. I know where you're gonna go after you go home, okay? They collect all that information. I know what you're buying every week, all right? Every week, somebody comes in, they buy toothpaste every Thursday. I don't know what they do with the toothpaste, but they buy it every Thursday, all right? I'm trying to, or companies use the technology in order to collect data because they're trying to build a profile, right? They want to get to know their customer better, right? And so that asset, right? Data's kind of become an asset now, right? Because, all the companies, if you go look, it says, hey, we're not gonna sell your information, yada, yada, yada. But, somehow it always ends up getting sold. It doesn't matter, right? Because you have telemarketers calling you, people calling you for all kind of crazy things. Hey, you want to buy a boat? Hey, you want to buy a camel? Hey, you want to buy a cow? You want to buy dog? Like, no, I don't want to. How'd you get my number? Right? They got it from all the places that you've been going to, right? All the stores, everything, using your card, right? Even the cash, right? Where'd you get that from? The ATM. Okay, I'm collecting data on all of you, right? So the technology has really catapulted the importance of data, the importance of, understanding your consumer, because then what that helps me do as an organization is I can better tailor products to you, okay? If I know that you don't like a certain thing, okay? And I don't even know if they even do this anymore in the mail, but here in the United States, there's, always a habit of people getting coupons
Yeah.
in the mail, right? But you know how they figure out what coupons to send to you? No?
According to your history of browsing.
Yeah, according to your history of your purchases and your browsing, right? You may think everybody's getting the same coupon, but they're not. Okay, they're not, right? Especially if you go to the same place over and over again, right? They get to know, it's like going to your favorite restaurant. As soon as you walk in, you don't even say anything. You sit down and they tell you, "You're a regular?" "Yeah, I'm a regular." Okay, they already know what you want, okay? That's not necessarily due to technology, but technology has a big part in overall now in what we do and how things are changing, right? It's not about necessarily wanting to get to know you on a personal level, on an intimate level. I just want to know how you spend your money, okay? Because I want a piece of your dollar, 10 cents, 5 cents, whatever it is. I want you to give me every dollar you spend, you need to give me 5 cents. That's what I'm trying to get to, okay? And technology helps to push that along, right? Technology has really changed that whole game because it wasn't like this 10, 15 years ago. Big data was a thing, but it was a thing in the labs. It was a thing, with, real IT people that were really into, computers and computer science and artificial intelligence and that kind of thing. That's where it was at, okay? It wasn't like everyday, day-to-day stuff, right? Now you go on the computer, they're collecting information on you, okay? Cookies. Everybody know what cookies are on your computer? Collecting data, okay? That's all they're doing, collecting data. So technology is a huge, huge thing when it comes to change, right? It's even during COVID, as it says right now on the slide, it changed the way we teach. Okay? If COVID happened 10 years ago, we would not have been able to have class. Okay, we would have just not had school, or we would have came in suits or something. I don't know, right? Or all my doctors in here, we had a mask on or something. I don't know, okay, how that would work exactly, all right, or a bubble suit, okay? It wouldn't have happened. But because of technology, we can facilitate those things. The economy can keep going, right? Society can keep moving forward because of technology and the things that we have as far as, innovation and, the things that are out there that automate what we do, collect information on us, and help to build convenience for us, right? Because your phone is really a convenience. That's all it is, right? I can call somebody, I can take pictures, I can send money, I can receive money, I can sign contracts, I can even check my health, right? Health diagnostic with the Apple Watch. I could do a whole bunch of stuff with this. I can get an insulin shot, if I'm not mistaken, is all kind of crazy technology, right? That is in the healthcare medicine system, okay? So technology is one, right? Demographics, right? And I kind of touched on this already. Huge driver of change, okay? Because every generation has something different that they want, something different on how they deal with things, how they view the world, okay? Now, I was having an interesting conversation with a friend of mine, and so nobody take offense to the topic, or, I'm not bringing it up to be controversial, right? But they were saying, do you think there's a bigger spotlight on LGBTQ, and there are more people that are, kind of saying they're transgender or they're queer or whatever the case may be, right? And I was like, I don't think so, right? I don't think there's more of a spotlight per se, or maybe there is more of a spotlight, right? But it's always been there, okay? It's always been there. The problem is that our previous generations were not open to talking about it, open to accepting it, right? And as we've gone on in time, the demographic has changed to where now it's not a big deal to talk about it. It's not a big deal to be transgender. It's not a big deal to be, whatever it is that you are, okay? It's not big. People are okay with opening up and talking about it and having it in the open to the point where it's celebrated. It's, people make money off of it, okay? But that's just because the demographic has changed. The mindset has changed, okay? And so because of that, we have to adjust to that, right? And when I say we, I'm talking about corporate America. Because corporate America is about, hey, what does the customer want? If Gen Z or Generation Alpha, which is the new generation now after, we tapped out of letters, now we got Generation Alpha now, okay? If those folks are okay with, a certain type of community or certain type of person or whatever the case may be, we need to take advantage of that because we're trying to make money, okay? Why would I lose out on an opportunity to make money if it's just a matter of me just conforming to whatever the demographic is and whatever it is they want, okay? What their perspective is on certain things, okay? If you look back at what happened maybe a year or two ago with, and you got some of you may or may not pay attention, with all the monuments, because slavery is a big deal in the United States, okay? African-American slavery, right? But some of the monuments and some of the statues that were up that represented, Confederate or slavery ideology, right? how they just started coming down, right? People would bring them down, you know, all these people that have been, like, these statues have been around for hundreds of years, all right? Dedicated to these civil rights, Civil War heroes who were on the Confederate side, who were on the side of, hey, pro-slavery, okay? And now they started coming down. People were like, no, we're not gonna stand for that. This statue, this guy was a slave person. He believed in slavery. Take that person's statue down, right? Change the name of that person off the school or whatever the case may be. That wouldn't have happened 10, 15 years ago, even 20 years ago. That wouldn't have happened, right? The reason it happened because, again, as the demographic changes, the mindset of society changes, okay? And so you have to really align yourself with, all right, like, which way am I gonna go? Okay, am I going to cater to the new demographic or am I gonna cater to old demographic, right? And what is really like one of the deciding factors on how companies decide which kind of way or who they're gonna focus on or who their target market on or who they care about, I should say, as a consumer? What's the criteria that I decide the company says, you know what? Baby boomers or Gen X, I'm gonna focus on them. I'm gonna listen to what they're saying. Why would a company decide to do that instead of trying to focus on maybe Gen Z or millennials or some other generation?
Maybe they didn't expect more from other generation.
When you say expect more, what do you mean by that? Like,
They afraid to go into this new name.
yeah, okay, I didn't think about that. Yeah, they might be afraid. It's a new area that they're not really certain of, or whatever the case may be, right? But at the end of the day, you know, the way companies really look at things is who has the most buying power right now? Does anybody know? Who has the most buying power in our society, in the United States? No, buying power. From a consumer standpoint, what generation has the most buying power? No. The youth has the most buying power? No.
You mean which company or which?
Which sector or segment of our society, as far as generation, has the most buying power?
Baby boomers.
Baby boomers. Baby boomers. That makes sense, right? Why does it make sense? Why does baby boomers make sense?
Affordable money.
Affordable money, right? So for those that are not familiar with generation, I know we're the only country that has this nonsense, okay? Baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Z, Millennial, Gen Z, we're the only country that has that, I'm pretty sure. I don't think any other country has that delineation, right? But baby boomers, you know, they're older. You know what that means? That means experience, that means retired, that means money that they've saved up over the 60 years they've been alive, 70 years they've been alive, right? So they can buy stuff, right? A millennial, Gen Z or Gen Alpha, what kind of money you got? You got money? Who's got a house here? You don't count. Who's got a house? Who owns a house here in San Diego? No one, huh?
One from this class, maybe.
No one from this class, okay?
Even you?
I used to own a house. Yeah, I used to own a house, but I sold it. No more, right? I don't own a house, right? Not here, okay? But I don't own a house because I don't want to spend that much money here.
Yeah.
Okay, it's too expensive, right? But guess what? There's a bunch of people who live in Coronado who got plenty of money to buy the $5 million house. That's starting $5 million, right? Houses in Coronado start about 2 million, 1.5, $2 million. That's what they start, right? Yeah, right away, right? And then you go up, it's only up from there, okay? Baby boomers have the most buying power. And that's what companies focus on. Who can afford what I'm selling? Okay? And if you can afford what I'm selling, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to change to make sure you're happy. Okay? And that's just the way it is. That's the way companies approach change in many instances. Why? Now, I don't want to say that's all the way true because if you think about technology, you think about demographics. So my parents, my dad's 82. My mother's 70 something, so she wouldn't want me to tell you what's how old she is, but she's 70 something, okay? All right, so I gave them an iPhone. Okay, worst thing I could have done, okay? Bad idea, okay? Under the first 2 years, she didn't know what to do with it. She was used to using the other old flip phone. You have to press 3 times to get to the C, press 5 times to get to the next letter. You know, I was like, Mom, send me a picture. I can send pictures? Yes, it's the iPhone. Take a picture. Where do I go? I don't know. Okay, you're wearing me out already. Okay. It literally took me 40 minutes last weekend to help my father send an email. Okay, it was a Google Docs. He didn't know how to send the email. And it wasn't he didn't know how to send the email. He couldn't figure out how to get the mouse to go down to the bottom to where the send button was. Okay? Yes, this is true story. Okay, you can call him, he'll tell you. Okay? So what I'm getting at is that we have innovation, we have technology, right? Companies focus on who has the most buying power, but they're also focused on what's coming up next, right? What do people want, right? And what's going on with society? So basically right now what's happening is baby boomers are getting left behind, okay? The baby boomers that don't want to participate in our active society are getting left behind when it comes to technology, okay? Because the technology we have now is not catered to baby boomers, not catered to Gen X, it's catered to millennials, to Gen Zs, right? The people that are playing video games all day 24/7 and like so fast, all right? Got all these great graphics, okay? So the companies are focusing on that, but at the same time, they also think about who can afford this computer, right? The same people that can afford the computer aren't necessarily the same people that the computer is made for, okay? And so you'll see subtle changes, you'll see subtle things that are within the product line that are made specifically to kind of cater to the buying power demographic, okay? Because it's important. If I have a product and you can't afford it, what's the point of me making it? Okay? You have to really afford it. So if you think about who has kids here? Kids? That's you. No one else has kids?
What?
Children. How old are your children?
10 and 6,
10. How about your son?
9 and 10.
9, 7. So you take them, yeah,
7 and 8.
7 there. Okay, perfect. You take them grocery shopping? You take them to the store with you? Yeah? All right. Okay. Do they like touch everything? Do they want everything? All right. Can they afford it? Right. Do they have a job? They got money? No, they have no job. They have no money. They don't have anything. All right. But guess what? They have you. Exactly.
They have the bank.
That's right. They have the buying power. They have influence over the buying power, is a better statement. Okay. No, I don't have any money. I'm broke. Look, empty pockets, nothing. Okay. But guess what? I got mom, I got dad, right? I got I'm crying a little bit. I'm gonna get the lollipop I want.
The most effective weapon.
It's a crying, right? We're on the floor. All right. I get what I want, right? Because we have the buying power. And this is what marketers, this is what companies think about. Okay. What changes do we need to make in order to address the actual consumer? All right. As much as you think that you're the consumer because you have the buying power, you're really not. All right. Because when you look at, if you go to the store, and I'm sure you do, right, with your kids, right, they keep all the good cereal down here. All right. All the sugary stuff, toy, the best toy, the most expensive toy, not the best toy, the most expensive stuff right here, right? This level right here.
It's called the eye level for the children.
That's right. Yeah. Marketing 101, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All the nasty stuff you don't want to even touch,
No.
don't want to eat. Yeah. It's up here, right? Because that's where the adults are at. Okay. And they already know you're not buying anything, right? Because you're growing, you're disciplined. You know, I got a certain amount of money I make, I don't have time for Fruit Loops. Okay, or Captain Crunch, whatever it is. But the kids, guess what? Yeah, they're gonna want that, right? And so the focus isn't necessarily always on you. The focus is about, hey, how do we get the person, the consumer, the target market to influence the person with the buying power? If the buying power person isn't necessarily what we're focused on, right? Hey, grandma and grandpa, you know, there's this thing called a MacBook. It's a computer. I can't afford it. You can't use it because you don't know what you're doing. But if you buy it for me as a gift, I can use it at school. I can use it to talk to my friends. How much is it? $1,300. Okay, don't worry about it. I get it for you. Okay? That's what the companies want, right? Who has the buying power? All right, and how do I influence that? How do I change that? Yeah, how do I get to them? All right. Okay, what time is it?
6:30.
All right, let's keep going for a few more minutes. All right. All right. Next one is globalization. All right. And globalization is a super interesting one because it's really fueled by technology. Okay. Back in the day, you know, when I went to school, we had international business. Okay. Now it's called global business. Okay. And when we say international business, there were a few countries we thought about. United States, Germany, Britain, France, Australia, China a little bit, okay? Russia, not really, but kind of just for sheer size, okay? Right? This is what we thought about international business, right? And then we talked about the first week or last week, right? About us being able to do business everywhere now, right? Most of you, I think, have WhatsApp, right? Use WhatsApp all the time, okay? And it's big internationally, but here in the United States, we don't use WhatsApp. It's not very common, okay? And I understand it's different because the texting works better here and WhatsApp works pretty well everywhere else, right? Okay, but because of technology, we are more connected, right? We can get things, we can do things that we couldn't do before, right? And we're becoming a smaller and smaller planet, right? So there's basically, everybody's heard about the 5 or 6 degrees of separation. Everybody understands that concept, 5 degrees or 6 degrees of separation? And just do 5 degrees of separation. So the concept behind the separation, right? It could be 3 degrees or 5 degrees or 6 degrees, whatever it is. It basically says that you are 3 people or 5 people away from whoever it is that you want to meet. Example, I'm 5 people away from being able to talk to the president. Okay, there's 5 people within my circle that I can talk to that eventually I will get to the president of the United States.
Connection between you and the last distance, like the last person I want to connect.
Say that again?
You mean the connection, how many connections between
Right,
you
yeah,
and the other-
yeah,
other
an actual
people?
ultimate goal, right?
Okay.
Okay, so the degrees of separation were much wider 10, 15 years ago, right? They've gotten a lot smaller. Like literally, if I really wanted to, I could probably talk to the president because my former boss works for the president. So I can call him up. He just texted me the other day. Hey, sir, how you doing? Can I come to the White House? Yeah, why? I'll talk to the president. Can I? Yeah, okay, we'll figure something out. Come on. I may not get to talk to him, but at least I'll be in the same room with him. Okay? That could never happen before, in the sense of that you are very close to whoever it is you want, all right? Beyonce, Jay-Z, I don't know, whoever, Justin Bieber, whoever it is that you like, okay? You're much closer to them, or it's much easier to be in contact with them than it was before. And that's because of globalization, right? If I really want to talk to someone in Africa or talk to someone in Europe or Jordan, the Middle East, and I want to do business, I can literally pick the phone up right now and talk to them, right? You couldn't do that before, right? And so globalization has like created this kind of race for resources. Okay, as we get more globalized and we become more and more connected, we start to realize like their resources are very limited.
Minimize the world.
Minimize the world, right? Yeah, it brings the world closer together, and you figure out like, okay, there's only so much water in the world. There's only so many coffee beans. There's only so many avocados. There's only so many things, right? There's only so many resources available, okay? And the people that know about it are becoming more and more, right? Before, if you ask someone, hey, where does a certain thing come from? Or let's go, I'm gonna go with diamonds, okay? Diamonds, majority of diamonds come from Africa.
Yeah.
Okay? But a lot of people didn't know that, right? Another thing a lot of people don't know about diamonds is that there's a whole vault full of diamonds. Okay? Like rooms and rooms just this big, even bigger, full of diamonds. They just lock them up and hold them. They buy them and they close them, right? They just keep them away from the public, right? Why would I do that? Why would I not be able to give everybody a diamond? That many. If I'm coming from a corporation standpoint,
To see the value.
to say the value of the diamond, right? If there's all these diamonds, why are diamonds so expensive? Okay, why are they so pricey? A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people still don't know that. Okay, De Beers, Harry Winston, all these companies, Tiffany's, you know, that have these crystals and these diamonds, they have access to millions of diamonds and pieces and jewels and crystals and all that stuff, but they control the market, okay? But a lot of people didn't understand that. A lot of people didn't understand that, hey, that diamond you're paying $10,000 for, you can go get it for $1,000, right? If they really wanted you to get it for $1,000, okay? Information is what globalization has kind of released, okay? If you remember the Arab Spring, okay? What was the Arab Spring about? Remember Arab Spring a couple of years ago? The Arab Spring. Nobody remember Arab Spring? Let me write it because I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Maybe.
All right. Yeah.
You remember Arab Spring, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, all right. See, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Wait a minute.
We've been through that.
Exactly, right? That's why I brought it up, because you were firsthand there, right? You've been through it, okay? So what was the thing about Arab Spring? What's Arab Spring about? What is it about?
But change.
Change of what?
The way,
Government.
Okay.
So,
and the way of the thinking in the law in the country, how they control in the country, the system from down to up,
Okay.
they want to change.
They want to change it, right?
well, it started from Tunisia.
Okay.
A guy burned himself.
Yes.
That's how it started.
Okay. Right. Okay. So Arab Spring is to,
I heard something about that before,
mm,
like protest, something was happening.
basically,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
That's correct. That's
it was a protest. He set himself on fire in protest, right? But at the end of the day, at the center of it was that there was a lack of access, right? Because the countries were controlling the Twitter, the Facebook, the social media, okay? And people wanted access to that. Why is it that they have access anytime they want in the United States, but we can't have it here? Why is it you're controlling the information flow? Okay, people don't like that. And finally came to a point where like, okay, we don't want the government controlling the social media. Okay, that's not gonna work. So thing about globalization is that you get to see, the bad side about globalization is that you get to see what you don't have. People get to see what they don't have. Okay, because we're so much closer now and connected, it's easy to see that, oh, wait a minute, they have all this stuff here, but why don't we have access to that? Why don't we have access to jeans or, you know, have access to that particular brand or have access to this particular type of music? Okay, globalization has exposed that, and people see that they're disenfranchised. That they don't have the same thing that everybody else has. Why can't I get a warm coat? It's cold. I like a warm coat. All right, but why can't I get that? Because that person has one. I didn't even know coats existed till I saw that guy with one. I want one too. Okay, so when you look at globalization, globalization prompts change because people get to see the things that they don't have because other people have them, right? And they want access to it. Okay, so guess what? We need to change. The Arab Spring was an extreme change, but it sent the message. Okay, now did anything become of it as far as control and getting more access to the social media? I don't know. That's
I think like Syria, that's a good example.
yeah.
Because they don't have that social life
Mhm.
in the old world because that was controlled from the government.
Right.
You cannot search anything, you cannot talk with anyone, and the technology was so limited there.
Mhm.
So when you reduce the technology in any country, you will reduce their knowledge about the other country.
Other places, right? Okay, so that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of globalization is that people travel more now because it's easier to travel. Okay, so now if I'm traveling, I go to a different country, right? And I'm gonna stick out, right? Most of us, except here in the United States, for the most part, you go to a different country, you're gonna stick out. Okay, like if I go when I was in Jordan or when I was in the Middle East period, I stuck out. Right? Like, okay, well, you're definitely black. We don't know where you're from, but you're not Middle Eastern. Okay, just like here, someplace else, you go to China, you go to Japan, all right, you go to India, you're gonna stick out, right? And so when you stick out, guess what? People want to they're automatically drawn to you because they want to know what the difference is, right? Your hair looks like this, my hair looks like that. Your eye color looks like this. Yeah, why? All right. Can I touch your skin? All right. I had people do that to me before. Can I touch your skin? All right. Because they actually thought it would rub off. All right. It's not that they're stupid. It's just they've never seen it. All right.
Something new.
Right. It's something new to them. Right. But globalization allows that. Right. Allows me to travel and to go to different cultures and experience it, and they can experience me also. Right? And then they go, oh, okay, I have a few questions. Right? And it happens to me all the time when I travel. I went to Germany one time and I was in this town, and the town was basically, everybody was white in the town. I can't think of a better word for it. Okay, I walked into the restaurant and literally, I think everybody stopped eating and just looked at me. And I was like, okay, so I'm not used to that, right? I'm used to, I'm from New York, so I'm used to everybody. Right, there's not a culture I haven't seen growing up in New York. But I walked in here and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm used to it. I've done this before, right? And I just sat there. I don't speak German, okay? No frequency Deutsch.
I've been through the same.
You've been through the same thing, right?
thing in Sudan and Africa.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
They barely shoot me.
They barely shot you?
Yeah.
What? No.
For nothing.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about getting shot.
But
Okay.
in Germany, if you cannot speak Germany, you are in trouble, really, because they don't speak English.
It depends where you go. Depends where you go. If you go to Berlin, Frankfurt, they speak English. Munich, yeah, they speak English. Yeah.
English they speak, yeah.
But I was in Stuttgart this time. And it's a little town, but whatever, I go into the restaurant and the restaurant was really a house. It was someone's house and they turned into a restaurant. So I walk in, okay, everybody stopped, looked at me. All right, so I was like, okay, whatever. So I sat down, got the menu. It was one side was English, the other side was German. So, I turned it over, but I want, I like to try new things. So I was trying to read the German, whatever. And then the lady comes over, she happened to speak a little English. She said, the table over there, they want you to come sit with them. I was like, why? No, they have questions, right? They have questions, like what kind of questions do they probably have? Like they want you to they will buy your food and your drink. And I was like, okay, well, okay, you don't buy my food and drink. I'm gonna go over there and talk to you, right? And so I sat there and I looked at the guy. One guy had a Tupac t-shirt, another one had a Biggie t-shirt, The other one had another t-shirt with My Little Pony on it. Like, they just was an interesting group. And they just sat there and they just asking so many questions about, hey, how's your hair feel? What's your skin, right? Do you feel different, like not being white or being black? And why do black people talk like this? Or why did he say that? Or is that true what you see on the rap videos? What about the girls? Like they look like that all the time? Like, no, okay? None of that is, those are all stereotypes. Yes, they're all founded in some truth, but for the most part, don't believe anything you see on TV about anybody. Okay? And so it was just an interesting perspective for them to have somebody that didn't look like them, right? And it changed their mindset about a lot of things, right? I got a chance to really tell them, like, no, they're not drive-bys everywhere you go. Okay, that's in Compton, that's in, big cities. Yes, there's murders, but it's not like that, right? The things you see on TV, no. Your hair is just like mine, no different, okay? If I shoot you, you're gonna bleed. If you shoot me, I'm gonna bleed too. Okay, it's the same thing, no big deal, right? Okay, well, what about this and what about that? And so after I was there like 3 hours. I was only supposed to be there 30 minutes. 3 hours later, I was friends with all of them. They walked me back to my hotel room. I was a little nervous about that. So I don't know what you guys are following me for, but okay. So they followed me back to the hotel room. They were like, well, come to the bar across the street. So I went to the bar across the street with them and kept buying me beer and drink, because they drink a lot of beer over there. Which I'm not a big beer drinker, but I drank beer, it's good. I had a good time. But I learned a lot and they learned a lot, okay? And they changed their mindset, right? But it's all about globalization, right? They understand that there's another aspect to different cultures, right? And this is an opportunity they might not get again in their life unless they travel to meet somebody that is not like them, right? And you can get that anywhere, right? It doesn't matter the fact that I'm black and I was in Germany, right? I could be black in Africa and get the same thing, right? Different, states, different villages, different whatever. You could be in the Middle East. The Middle East is totally different, right? Jordan and Qatar and Oman, and they're all different.
Yeah.
All right, Dubai, they're all different. Okay, they're not the same, right? Even though the people are generally look the same, but they're not the same. Every time is different, right? So globalization definitely is a huge influencer when it comes to change, right? Changing mindset and giving people an opportunity to understand that there's other cultures and other things out there, but also you have to have some ability to be open to other ideas, right? And this is kind of a problem that we have in our society. People are not open to other people's perspectives and not open to other people's feelings. But globalization, very much has a huge impact on that, okay? And now that we are closer, right, we can actually, be tighter. We can communicate just like that, okay? That creates, the ability to change. That creates, it can also create tension and drama, right, and challenges. But at the same time, it's more beneficial than it is harmful, right? There's more pros to globalization than there are cons, right? And one of the aspects of change and globalization is that globalization adds value to your organization, right? Because now I have people from Jordan. It adds value to this class. When I think about all the different cultures that are in this class, that adds value to each one of our learning experiences. What's that? Right, and then, yeah, you get a different flavor, right, from each student because they have a different story, right? Different things that they experience in their country that they're bringing here now that we can all learn from, okay? And sometimes we're not going to agree on stuff, which is okay, right? That's the way it's supposed to be, right? Okay, let's take 10 minutes and then come on back.
You know?
No.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah.
So I think some of the students left, like, and the course.
Oh, they,
So you
who's,
know
who's,
what,
who's not there?
so what happened is now, like you see, there's only 15 students now. And in group two, there's only two, group one only two. And group three has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
And this group four has like 4, and this one, there's no assign of the group.
Well, that's because Mohammed just got in.
Yeah, so this is
Okay.
that. So
I'll go look
please,
at it
please
again.
give an opportunity to assign the group for 4 people. It's
Um,
gonna be easy for us.
let me see, I gotta see it, because I gotta see how the numbers work out. Because you used to have 4 people in your group,
We used to have, I think, 5 now,
you used
but
to have 5, but now you have what?
now we have only 2. Like
Okay.
group 2 has 2 now, group 1 has 2,
Yeah,
group 3 has 5,
okay.
and group 4 has 4.
Yeah, I'll go in and check it out. So I'll do probably 15, yeah,
So
15.
I think
I'll probably
some-
just do 3 groups of 5.
Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll go in and check and change it.
so can you please help us like to put like together any preferences?
Oh, you want to make your own group?
Like if we give you 3 names,
Yeah, you want? Yeah, that's fine.
okay. So,
Yeah, give me your 3 names and I'll put you in the group, but I want it tonight,
yeah,
like before we leave. So
Yeah.
I don't wanna.
okay.
What's up? What you got? Huh? You give me that look like, oh no, I don't wanna end up in the wrong group. Who's in your group? No, I'm talking about any guys. Who's in your group, you know?
Twice,
Uh-huh.
and,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
then the other Nigerian boy.
Tunji.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Tunji. Yeah, Tunji. Yeah. That's you've been a good group.
Have this. So if you want the party.
I'll probably add one more to your group,
Okay,
but you got a good group.
I don't have a problem.
Yeah. You
You're supposed to come. I thought we were gonna form a group. For us to,
Yeah.
because me, I'm actually very busy. That's me. Working from here, Nigeria, yeah.
Yes.
So give me your phone number.
Yeah.
I already have Tunji's phone number already. And let me confirm if I actually saved it.
So their group has 4 people right now.
So I'm gonna, yeah, they have 4. Yeah, if you give me the 3 names you want, email it to me. And then I'm gonna add 1 to their group, 3 to your group, and then that would leave the other group of 5.
Just give me your phone number.
Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
So you have 4 people in your group.
Yeah.
We're gonna make like a 3 each because ours has only 2. So who wants to join ours? Like me and Mariana and one.
Oh, I don't understand.
Because some people left the course.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Are you in the class? What class are you? What group are you?
Three or 5 or many
What group
people.
are you? Are you?
Number 2. Number 2.
Mariana is in 3.
Yeah, so Mariana group has 5 people, that's why.
Yeah, that's fine. That's gonna stay fine, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put, if it's 15 people, I'm not sure if that includes the online folks. Into 3, yeah. 5 or 5, yeah. That's why I'm saying, if you wanna add 3 people to your group,
Oh,
let me know which people you wanna add.
okay.
and I'll add 'em to
okay.
your
So
group.
Total is 5. I thought like 3 person in one group.
No, 5, since we have 15, I'm just not sure how many of those are online.
Let me give you the names of the people online.
Yeah, it should be 3 of them online.
The online is Alexis Taylor,
Mhm.
Destiny, Glorious Destiny, Chikwen Stanley. I don't know. if that's
Yeah,
the-
yeah. Mhm.
Only 2.
Then, I think there are just 2.
It's just 2
Yeah.
now. Okay, so it's 2 now.
Online.
So is that out of the
So the
15 or is
problem
that?
That 15
is
person,
including
we need
you.
to confirm if she's gonna be in class, because there's some people that have already started
Yeah,
here online, but they're supposed to be in class.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we need to confirm if she's gonna be coming in.
Okay.
class.
Send me what, who you want to add,
Yeah.
because if it's 15 including me, so that means it's 14 and then there's 2 online.
Yeah,
So that means it's actually 12,
yes,
right? So it's gonna be 3 groups of 4.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
So
3
my
groups of
group
4.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Four.
So you 4, you need
I
you
give
need
you
to,
tonight.
tonight you need 2 more names, right? Yeah, because it's group, that'd be 3 groups of 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
4 each.
So you need to give me 2 more names for your group, and then
The problem of is that
Mm.
is Mariana's group is already 4.
It's 5. She's in number 3.
She's in 3, this is, Christine.
15, yeah, Christine.
Lansley, Mansour, Mariana, and 1, 2, 3, 4,
5. Masood.
5. So Mariana will join your group.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
So
Mariana. should
Mariana
join
will
your
come
group.
in ours, so it's gonna be 3, and then we'll find someone more.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, you need to find 2 more. So you got 1 Mariana and then another person.
The total 4 people in a group,
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
So, because if I want to join your group, my group will be shot by 1.
Yeah, no.
You guys are fine. 4. You guys have 4, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Nice for you, good. You're there. Okay, so you guys are good. Okay. So I'm not gonna mess with your group. Or they just send me the 2 people you want me to add to them, and then
Yes, sir.
everything else will work out on its own.
1,
Yeah.
2,
Me.
3, 4.
But you are, which group you are in?
4.
Oh, yeah, so you guys are good.
Yeah, same.
So you have 4 people in the group.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. My manager.
619.
Mm-hmm.
7070873.
Yeah.
Confirm. 619.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
87.
Yeah.
Is this on WhatsApp?
Yeah, but
WhatsApp.
yeah, if you're, yeah. We, register my number, yeah, that's coming in.
Okay.
And I do the Tyler's number too. If you invite me for, which year?
I'm going to send you WhatsApp now.
Yeah, it will.
Okay. So I'm going to create a group.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
what the,
This class now?
6 and ORG.
Oh, are you
Yeah.
6011? 6011.
Oh,
Okay.
6011. Okay.
I'm going to add you now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't invite others.
Oh, I added already. I've already added already, but I can make you group admin.
Just one thing.
So Mariana's group is number 3 and has 5 people, correct? So just remove Mariana from there and add a number group in
Mhm.
group 1 or group 2, sorry.
Mm.
And then whoever is left, you can add.
Okay, all right.
So
Just send me an email,
Yeah.
who you want me to add, as far as Mariana, that's there, right? And you want me to pick the other
Yeah.
person?
Oh, yeah, got it.
Like whoever comes,
Okay.
because we live together, so it's gonna be easy for us to
Okay.
finish it up together.
Okay,
And 2 person can be any.
okay.
This one. Oh, even a meeting, I can do it. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, then.
You have another.
All right,
No, we're just for,
where's everybody at? Let's get rolling.
so,
All right, they outside, tell them to come on in.
Yeah,
did you add him? I didn't see him. He's not here.
You're so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. So, we'll talk about it, we'll talk on the group.
Yeah.
All right. Get this thing rolling. All right, so if we start looking at other environmental pressures or external changes, pressure for change, right? I'm not gonna go through all of them, right? But change expectations at work, climate change, corporate responsibility, divisive issues, right? So climate change is one of the kind of newer ones, right, that we're taking consideration, especially now that we've kind of seen that climate change is actually something that's real and affecting our society, all right? So it's evident that we had snow last week, okay, and hail and weird weather patterns here in San Diego, okay? For as long as I've been in San Diego, I've been coming to San Diego since 1992. I've never seen it snow, okay? Not in San Diego, all right? So that is definitely something that
Because maybe we came here.
because you came in, you brought the storm.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay, but
We'll bring our weather with us.
bring the weather with
Yeah.
you. Okay, no change. But it's important because now most companies are worried about, corporate social responsibility, right? CSR. What is my contribution to the community that I'm in? Right, from a company standpoint, right? Companies are getting scrutinized for how much they invest back into the place that they are doing business in, right? And so how are we protecting the environment as a company? A lot of companies have taken this on as a big deal, right? And it should be, right? We're looking at green energy and renewables, okay? But as an organization, right, we look for cost-saving ways in which we can also be environmentally safe, but we can make money, okay? So for instance, for like Nike, okay? Nike has this huge program that they've undertaken. It's been probably like 10 years now, right? And so a lot of the jerseys, a lot of the sneakers that you're wearing nowadays, those are all from recycled material, okay? All the uniforms that you see, for the most part, that you see the teams wearing, is from recycled material. And they're not like made from new, thread and material, that kind of thing. They recycle rubber, recycle plastic, recycle other recycled materials, because there's an effort in order to try to contribute to the environment in a positive way, okay? Everybody familiar with the cap and trade program? No? Okay. Cap and trade program is a program that Barack Obama put in. And basically it says every company has a certain amount of carbon dioxide or exhaust they can put out in the air, okay? So every company gets an allocation. And if you don't necessarily meet your allocation, then you have to pay every time you go over it, right? So every company, let's just say they have 2,000 cubic square feet that they can, pollute the air in, okay? Once they get past the 2,000 square feet or cubic square feet, 2001, they start paying a fine, okay? Because now you're emitting too much pollution into the air, into the environment, okay? We all know everybody knows how chlorofluorocarbons work, or CFCs, everybody knows CFCs. So everybody sprayed an aerosol can before, right? Everybody familiar with aerosol cans? If you get a can, you spray it, right? They have certain things that not anymore, not as much now, but they have something called CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. And basically it eats away at the CFC. CFS?
I think.
No, the chlorofluorocarbons? No, CFC, chlorofluorocarbons. Carbons, yeah, CFC. Right? It eats away at the atmosphere, at the stratosphere, at the ionosphere, at the whatever, right? And then it lets UV rays in, which are not good for us, right? Ultraviolet rays are not good for us as humans and just in general, right? And so companies, had to adhere to a certain amount of pollution that they put out in the environment, right? And every company has an allocation. Once you get past the allocation, you have to pay a fine. But you can also buy someone else's allocation. So let's just say Nike says, hey, we're about to hit our cap, all right? But Reebok or Adidas says, hey, we got 1,000 square feet of pollution left. We'll give you 500, or we'll sell you 500 cubic square feet. Okay, cool. That's where the trade comes in, cap and trade, right? We're capping the amount of pollution you can put out there, but if you want, you can trade with other companies to give you more allocation so you can produce whatever it is you need to produce, okay? So companies are very big into environment. What can we do as far as corporate social responsibility? How do we give back to our communities, right? Those all have an impact on change. Those all have an impact on how the company does its business, right? To the point where, you're gonna start seeing BP and Exxon and all these big, oil companies, even in the Middle East, right? You see there's a shift in power as far as OPEC goes, right? Everybody familiar with OPEC? Yeah, okay. So there's a shift in power. 30 years ago, you couldn't tell OPEC anything. Okay, OPEC they were the lead, they were in charge of the oil. Okay, if OPEC said they're gonna give you 10 gallons of oil, that's what you got. Okay, they said they're gonna give you 100 gallons, that's what you got. Okay, it's very hard to deal with OPEC, right? But nowadays, because the demand for fossil fuels is going down, OPEC's power, right, is diminishing because there's not as much of a need for fossil fuels. Okay? That's going to require a change on OPEC's part to figure out how do we retain this leverage that we have over the world. Okay, because again, OPEC provides the majority of oil to the world, right? That's how Saudis got plenty of money, oil money. Okay, that's where it comes from. How do we leverage that? How do we maintain control based on our product? Okay, we have to change. And guess what we have to change? We got to maybe get into renewable energy, right? What are some other uses for our main product? What else can I use oil for aside from fuel? Okay, we got to come up with different things.
You mean like change the providers?
No, not change the providers, but change what the product is used for.
Sources?
Yeah, well, not necessarily the source, but you have to change how you sell the product, right? Why is the product important? Why is oil important?
Because like many of the machines are not working at current machines.
Yeah, they're combustion. They're combustion, right? They need fuel. They need oil. Okay. So who controls the oil? OPEC, right? Saudi Arabia basically controls the oil market for the most part. Russia has oil, Venezuela has oil. We have oil here
Even
too.
here.
Yeah, we have oil here. Yeah. Yeah, we have oil everywhere in the Midwest and we have a reservoir, but we don't tap into it, right? Because it does other things to the environment.
But it's not as much as Saudi Arabia.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even close, all right? Saudi Arabia has the largest deposits of reservoirs of oil, okay? All over the place.
Jordan, they have olive oil.
Yeah. They have most countries have oil. They just don't have it in abundance.
Yeah.
Okay? Because oil is down there in the ground, but is it worth to, go down and drill and access it is really what the issue is. How do I access that oil? It might be too deep to drill to bring it up, all right? This is the problem with the United States, that we have oil, but in order to get it, we have to do different things. We have to do fracking, right? Everybody familiar with fracking? Right? Fracking is a process in which we bring oil up to the surface, right? Basically, it's high pressure water. They flood the tunnel, and then it pushes, it fracks, it breaks the rock, it breaks the sediment, and the oil is released and it comes up. Okay, but what does that do to the tectonic plates, the infrastructure of the earth, right? It causes earthquakes, it causes rolling plates, right? It messes with the fault, right? It messes with the it creates all these other natural disasters that we don't want and not worth it, right? Sinkholes, all right? The area just opens up. There's just a big hole in the earth, in the dirt, and just sucks everything in, right? That's due to fracking. That's due to us moving, trying to get this oil out. We can't get it, right? So Saudi Arabia, it's easier for them to get the oil out of their particular piece of land, right? They got it, they got the drills, and it's easy and no big deal. Venezuela, Russia, like I said, right? But with the decrease in demand for fossil oils or for fossil fuels, right? They have to come up with some other way in which to sell their product. Because now the product become less and less useful. Because we have electric vehicles, we have hybrid vehicles, right? We're using solar panels. We have Tesla, right? It's a different form of energy, right? With its own cons, own bad side and upside, but at the same time, it's more efficient and cleaner than fossil fuel, right? And so when you look at a company or an organization like OPEC, who's been around for 50, 60, 70, 100 years controlling the market, right? And then now they have to really do an analysis as to how do I change the company to keep it profitable, to keep all the money coming in when my product is no longer as valuable as it was before. Okay?
I have to change.
You have to change, right? You have to change.
We say that, keep trending. Keep trending.
Right. You have to,
Ride the train.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of you have to ride the train, you said? Yeah, you have to ride the train, all right? Or the trend, you can, but this is not necessarily a trend.
It's not a trend. Maybe I can, I can.
You're saying ride the
say very
train,
well,
yeah, but you're saying you need to roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to kind of go with it, right? Because that's what's happening, right? That's what's going on now, in our world, because we are noticing that climate change is really happening. It's real. Our weather is being affected, right? We're having all these weird kind of things, and that not only affects us as far as weather goes, but affects our food source. Okay? Our food source, food,
Right.
farm. The weather,
Yeah, the weather.
yes,
Yeah,
the weather has a huge impact on our food supply.
right, yeah.
Okay, so if it's having a huge impact on our food supply, guess what? That's a huge impact on humanity. That's our existence as people. All right. And so, yes, this is an important issue. It may not seem like it's important. It may seem funny that it snowed, but it's very dangerous. It's very, it's weird because now you're talking about changes in the planet that may very well wipe us out. Okay, we may have an ice age, or we may have a period of time where something happens and I don't know, the planet splits in half, the moon goes out of alignment. Who knows? All right, this weird stuff. Okay, but at the end of the day, what else is it impacting? Okay, what else needs to, be considered if we're talking about changing based on climate change or anything else? Right? What's the impact? Right? There's some change that is not very impactful. It's not necessarily, it's inconsequential. This is minor, right? But there's other changes that seem minor, but really aren't, right? They're very fundamental changes that are going to change the way you approach things, the amount of money you make. Just you being here in class is going to have an impact on your life. It's going to change, right? Because if you compare yourself to maybe some of your friends who don't go to school, who've never been to school, don't have degrees per se, right? But you're here, you're getting a degree, you work on yourself, right? You're going to make different kind of money. You got different options to you, right? But there's a change that goes on for you to come here, right? It's something that has to happen in your mind, mentally and physically, for you to say, you know what, I want to do this. I want to make this change in my life. So I'm going to get in my car, I'm going to get dressed, I'm going to come to class instead of going any place else that I could possibly go. And guess what? I'm going to pay someone for this pain. Okay? It's like going to the gym. You go to the gym so you can lift weights or work out. And I like working out, but not that much. Okay, working out is painful sometimes. But at the same time, you see that you have to have the right mindset in order to make these changes happen, right? It doesn't matter what it is, you have to look at the end goal, right? What's the end state, right? How's it going to impact not only myself, but society in general? right? It's causing famine. It's, ruining crops. We're driving the price up of like little things like, oh, there's a shortage of avocado. Why is that? It's a weather thing, right? There's not enough water because it's not raining enough. Why isn't it raining enough? Well, the ozone layer's shot. There's no cloud formation. Okay, or you have something like down in Tijuana, the Tijuana River. Anybody ever been down the Tijuana River? No? Well, when you get a chance, well, you probably smell it before you see it. Okay? It's bad. It's very bad. It's horrible. Okay? But now what's happening is that the sewage is not only in the water, the sewage is disintegrating because the ultraviolet rays are coming through, and the sewage is being disintegrated and it's going up in the air, and now it's in the air. Okay? So think about something like, human waste that's in the Tijuana River and is getting hit by the sun and it's disintegrating into little tiny particles that are up in the air. Yeah, look, guys, be like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yes, it's going up in the air and now you're breathing it. And then you're going to say, wow, I'm not really sure what happened. Like, I don't feel good. Or 5 years later, I have cancer. All right. And you don't think about, oh, the environment, you think it's something genetic, when in all actuality, it's the environment, right? It's the food that we put in our bodies. Okay. You are what you eat. Okay. And so all that stuff it all connects in one way or the other, right? Whether you think it's small, whether you think, you turning off the water, for 30 seconds is not going to have an impact. It has a huge impact, right? Because it's exponential. Because if we all do it, then it'll be good, right? But we all have to make the change, right? That's at the bottom of the day. Okay. So now we're going to look at some different models, okay? So again, depending on what type of person you are, you're gonna have a different approach to how you do business, okay? And the things that are important to you are gonna depend on who you are and what skill set you have, right? What are you comfortable in, right? Where are you comfortable at? Are you okay talking to people? Are you okay giving people orders? Are you okay taking orders, right? Are you more of a person who is gonna listen and then, kind of take the information you got and then try to implement it in some way? Or are you just somebody who's gonna listen and be like, I already have an idea of what I want to do. Okay, there's people like that. Like, I hear you, but I'm not listening. Okay, I got my idea. I know your idea. Your idea sounds better than mine, but I'm not paying attention to that. Okay, and so that all has an impact on how people approach their analysis or diagnostic of a company and how to do the change, right? What should we focus on? Should we focus on the people? Should we focus on the systems? Should we focus on the process? Should we focus on infrastructure? What is it that we need to change? What are the important aspects of our business? Okay. Should we consider, social media? Should we consider certain trends? Should we consider societal norms, societal constructs? Should we think about what's going on globally and put that into the formula that we have for change, right? All those things matter, right? And depends on the person and kind of what they're looking at, okay? So when we talk about models, right? Models are great because they provide you a blueprint. They provide you a recipe. That's the way I kind of think about it, right? If you have a model, you have all the variables that kind of go into the outcome. And what I mean by that is that you all know what it takes to get an A in the class. What do you got to do to get an A in the class? What do you got to do to get an A in the class? Study more? Okay, what else?
Doing all my homework.
Doing all your homework.
My quiz, my learning, my exam.
Everything.
Right. Model. Okay? X plus Y plus Z plus A plus B equals A. Okay? It's a model, right? So when you have a model, what you have is something that you don't have to think about. if I follow this model, I'm gonna get to this particular place, okay? If I don't follow the model, I may still get there,
Like up to the
yeah. I may get there, but not the way I wanted to get there. I may get a B, yeah, all right, not an A, right? You follow the model, but maybe you didn't follow it great, you followed it okay, so, right? Because there's other things going on in your life, like, yeah, I'm happy with a B, whatever the case may be, right? But it's a model. And so when it comes to change, there's certain models that we like to look at in order to analyze the company, right? Analyze the organization. What perspective or what view do we want to have in order to do an analysis? Because that analysis is going to drive all these other decisions, right? And if we don't necessarily agree on what's important, then we're going to have a problem from the very beginning. You may think the workforce is important, where I think, hey, I'm more concerned about the consumer, right? What's the consumer think? Yes, you always have to take into consideration, but is that more important than our workforce? Is it more important to focus on infrastructure? Or is it more important to focus on, human or natural resources or something? Okay, so all the models are different in the sense that depending again, what type of person you are, what kind of leader you are, you're gonna pick different things to kind of focus on, right? To kind of say, okay, this is valuable, this is important, I need to look at that because if I look at this and examine that, it gives me an idea of what kind of change I need to make or where I need to go, how I need to go about it, right? All right, so the first model is the 6-box organizational model. I'm gonna go through these pretty quick. It's not anything you can't look up. And again, there's no right one, okay? This is all situational, right? Everybody familiar with that word, situational leadership, situational awareness, right? You have to look at the characteristics of your situation, of your scenario, and then pick the best thing that applies. Okay, bless you, right? Every road is not a perfect road for everybody, right? I'm gonna go, I went down this road, doesn't mean that's gonna work for you. Okay, so you have to look at your situation, what you have, and say, okay, this model's not gonna work for me, but that one is. Okay, so none of them are just right, they're just options. Okay, different ways to approach it, right? So you got the 6-box organization model, relies on purpose, structure, rewards, helpful mechanism, relationship, and leadership, right? And so this model is looking at 6 factors that they find is important, right? In order to really understand the organization and to really understand how to make changes in the organization, right? In these particular areas, right? 7S, right, has 7 factors, kind of the same thing. At the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you this about all the models, they're all kind of the same, right? They just word things a little differently, but they're all the same. I'm gonna focus on the people, I'm gonna care about the infrastructure, I'm gonna care about the resources, right, that I have, either it be capital or natural resources or just whatever. I gotta care about the government, right, the laws, the regulation, the rules, okay? I have to care about society. And the reason I have to care about society because society is my market, okay? I have to care about the people that are consuming my good services or product, whatever it is, okay? But the models are typically the same in the sense of that they are all concerned with things that are generally identical, just worded different, okay? So you got the 7S framework, okay? Structure, system, style, right? And there's minute differences, right? So when we talk about systems, okay, we can kind of look at structure, helpful mechanisms, kind of the same thing, right? What processes are involved? What systems are involved? Okay, how can I, look at it from a sense of, oh, the STAR model possibly, right? Design, strategy, structure, process, lateral capability, reward system, and people practices. So this one focuses more on my workforce and how can I enable my people that work for me to be better, right? Maybe that has an angle where I do more training, more development within my organization because there's just a lack of, excellence or lack of, just understanding what we really do or not understanding your job, okay? Because not everybody that has a job and doing the job for a long time doesn't mean they're good at it, All right, just because I'm a professor, don't mean I'm good at it. All right, I might just be standing up here and I might be the only one that wants to do it. Okay, so you have to get the best out of your people, right? But you have to understand, like, okay, how do I get that? Do I get that through training? Do I get that through, having better relationships with people? What kind of business are you in? And trying to understand the nuances of that business and getting your people to really buy in, trust you, right? So it's about relationship forming, right? The full frame model, all right, this display that organization operates structural, human resource, political, and symbol. But you can kind of see, like, a lot of the models have a lot of the same elements, right? They might have one or two different ones, right? Political and symbolic. A lot of times, depending on your company, right? So let's say Tesla, for instance. Tesla might use this full frame model as their change initiative or their change style, right? Because Tesla deals a lot with the government. Facebook, okay, they deal a lot with the government, right? Because of the things that they do and the things that they need, especially Tesla, right? They need a lot of natural resources that we use as a nation. They want to tap into it, right, at a large scale, right? I want more lithium. I need cobalt. I need all this stuff. Where does this stuff come from? Europe somewhere. Some of it we have here, but not really. All right. Also now, Elon, you need to go form your relationship with all these other countries.
You mean to build their batteries?
Yeah, do better. Mhm.
They are not alone in the market.
No, they're not on the market. No, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah, everybody wants to build the next better battery, right? But the materials that are needed for that are not necessarily resident here in the United States, right? They're around the world. The problem is that those particular resources are not something that an individual controls per se. Okay, most resources are state or government control or state control, right? I'm just not gonna go to Russia and like, oh, look, I'm gonna get some oil and get my cup, just take some oil home. It doesn't work that way, right? Somebody has to tell Vladimir Putin, like, hey, there's a guy here, his name's Elon, he's from the United States, he wants to take a lot of our oil. He wants to take a lot of our resources. Well, tell him to go to the United States. Tell him to tell the president to call me. Okay, that's how it works. That doesn't work any other way. So Elon Musk has to figure out, how do I get all these people together, right? How do I tap into these different relationships so I can get what I need, right? How do I analyze that? And so he's gonna look at it from a political standpoint. And it's gonna like, I guess influence is the best word I can think of right now. Influences behavior, right? Elon Musk is not gonna say certain things. He's not gonna behave in a certain way. Now, granted, Elon Musk is kind of eccentric, right? He does quirky stuff. At the end of the day, he's very intelligent, bright man, right? But there's certain things you don't hear Elon Musk talking about too much, right? Or people don't have stance on certain things. Let's just say, for instance, everybody's familiar with Michael Jordan, right? Man, basketball player, okay? So Michael Jordan, he's just a quiet kind of guy, greatest basketball player, to ever play the game, right? But back in the day, Michael Jordan was not a very vocal advocate of civil rights. Okay? Now, that may seem minor to you, but if you think about the athletes nowadays, right? LeBron, Chris Paul, Megan Rapinoe, all these, high level athletes, right? They all have something to say about politics. They have an opinion, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. That's good, right? They have an opinion, they have a platform, and they're vocal about it. They're doing stuff, they're saying stuff. Michael Jordan wasn't like that, okay? And you know why Michael Jordan wasn't like that? Did anybody have? Because he cannot do that. Why? He could, but why wouldn't he? Why didn't he?
Not to lose your reputation.
Okay, not lose your reputation. Okay, that's one thing, but what else? He was scared? Scared of what? Losing career, losing fans, no. Money. Okay,
Losing contract,
Michael Jordan didn't want to lose contracts.
contract.
He didn't want to lose money.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael Jordan is the first billionaire athlete. Billionaire athlete. Okay, Michael Jordan's like, I don't care. I just don't want to mess up my money. Okay, so he didn't say anything. All right. So the way he was analyzing it was not from a political standpoint. All right. For him, it was about, okay, how do I analyze the situation to where I keep myself insulated and keep my money flowing? Because even to this day, Michael Jordan sneak Jordans are, they come out, there's a line around the corner. Michael Jordan hasn't played basketball in what, how long? Yeah, in a long time, okay? But people still buy his $300 sneakers. Okay? There's a Michael Jordan building at the Nike campus in Oregon, in Portland. Okay? Because Mike didn't really say anything. Right? Because he did an analysis and realized it's not worth it for me. Okay, it's not worth it. I'm bringing some other model to change. So Michael, what he does, he donates a lot of money. 10 million here, 20 million here. Oh, you need a charity event? I'm there for free. People will pay to talk to Michael Jordan. They'll pay a lot of money, $10,000, $20,000 to take a picture with Michael Jordan. All right, all the money goes to the charity. All right, he doesn't say a word. He just goes that way, right? The whole point I'm trying to get is that if you look at Elon Musk, or you look at most CEOs and most people that have to make big decisions that impact a lot of people, they are not very vocal on certain things. Okay? The only time you really hear, not the only time, but the majority of the time you hear people talking a lot about different things that they're politicians. Okay? Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ocasio-Cortez, Mitt Romney, all these other guys, they're all politicians. They all have something to say about something. Okay? Right? Because they're not really worried about, they worry about what you think, but at the same time, they're not really worried about money, right? It's about power more or less with them, right? And then there's a following that they have that will get them back in the office or have them retain their power. But, depending again on what kind of change you're trying to do, right? What is you trying to protect or at least grow, you have to figure out which model works for you, okay? In order to protect what you deem is valuable. Some athletes, some actors, some people, right? This is why sometimes you see people that are in the news all the time and other people you never heard of. You just see them in the movies. For instance, Madonna. Madonna's in the news all the time now. The past month, 2 months, she's been in the news. Right? Everybody familiar with Madonna, right? I grew up with Madonna as far as like she's in my age range, whatever, right? My generation. Okay. But Madonna's what, 50 something, 60 now, right? Something like that. Okay. And she's in the news, right? She wants to be seen, she wants attention. But there's other people like, I don't know, Brad Pitt or somebody, or some other actor. You don't see them except you see them in the movies. That's the only time you see them. You don't see them on the news. You don't see them in social media. You don't see them anywhere.
Like Oprah.
Who?
Oprah.
Oprah?
Yeah.
No, Oprah don't count. You see Oprah.
Too much.
Yeah, you're right. She is super famous, and she doesn't necessarily get in the news for too much. But Oprah's business sort of like puts her in that limelight because she's always interviewing people that are controversial. So she kind of, by default, is always in the news. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, she's never in trouble. She's always just doing her job.
Like Jason Statham, you can see it in movies, but you can't find it on social media.
Right, you can't find them on social media. You don't hear anything about them. Sometimes you think they're dead. And then you say, oh, I didn't know you were still alive. You're in a new movie. Okay, all right. So again, it's about understanding what it is that's important to you and protecting that, right? But you have to change with the times, right? You have to be able to look at the situation and say, okay, I'm gonna look at these 5 or 6 different areas and say, all right, I can make a change here. This is gonna be good here. This is an important variable in order to build the right model, right? And again, these are just templates. These are just models that have been used before theoretically, all right? Not necessarily saying that they're applicable, all right? They're not practical, maybe. I don't know, because remember last week I told you, just because it's in a book doesn't necessarily mean it works. Okay? We are theorists, all right? By nature, PhD is a theorist. Okay? I think about stuff in my head. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. And then, no, it's not. This idea is terrible. Okay? Vice a practitioner, right? A DBA, a lawyer, a JD, a MD, a practitioner. You're actually doing it, right? You're taking the theoretical stuff and seeing, does this thing really work, right? Can I take somebody's brain out of one head and put it in somebody else's head, right? Does that work? Yes,
Yeah.
it does work. They've done it. At least they tried. At least the article I read said they tried, and it kind of worked. Okay. Yeah, they did face transplant. Brain, I'm pretty sure is gonna be
Everything is
coming.
happening.
Huh? Yes,
Everything is happening.
everything's happening. Okay, you can transplant someone's face. You can do a lot of things. Okay, it's crazy. All right. All right. Gap analysis. Now, when we talk about gap analysis, this is probably the most common model that you're gonna kind of see out there, because the gap analysis is just that. I'm looking for the missing piece. All right. We do gap analysis all the time. We do a SWOT. It's kind of a gap analysis. Okay. I'm looking for the difference between where I am and where I want to be. What's in the middle? Right, the gap, right? And how do I get to that point? Okay. So the gap analysis is pretty common in most companies. Most people start here, right? I know where I want to be and I know where I'm at.
This is called processing.
Okay.
We can say processing
As far as what from?
from the gap. We can call it processing.
Yeah. It's processing, yeah.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, yeah, you're gonna go from point A to point B. There's a process in there.
Processing.
Yeah, processing between, yeah.
Like the gap that's sent by delivery.
Yes, yeah.
That's the most example that's like going right now.
Mhm.
The delivery.
Yeah, mhm.
This gap was like 10 years back, even before Corona.
Yeah.
For 5 years, we wasn't take this delivery as serious as this.
Okay.
But during COVID, everyone has his own app
Mhm.
for delivery, to bring food,
Right,
to shopping, and
because they saw there was a gap. All right, there was a need. Okay, that's always, need is the mother of invention, as they say, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. Most things are created because I needed it. There was a gap. I had to get from one point to the next, or get from one place to the next place. And I had to figure out, how do I do that? Okay, that's where the gap analysis comes in. And so it's probably gonna be the most, popular, or most prevalent model you're gonna see out of it, because we do it all the time in our lives and our day-to-day activities. We're always doing gap analysis, whether or not you're thinking about it or not, you are doing gap analysis. All right. Pestle is another good one. And this more takes, more of the external environment in consideration, right? Political, environmental, social, the legal, right? That's all external things that we really looking at, and how can we, examine those things and figure out, okay, what's the best course of action? How can we change, right? There's a new law coming. For those of you that file taxes in California, okay? IRS just approved it. It did like 2 weeks ago. So the way the IRS or California state tax used to work, anything you got the year before as a refund, they would send you a receipt for the next year and say, hey, you got $300 as a refund last year, so we're gonna count that against you. Okay, it's weird. I don't know how they do it, right? Well, the IRS said, well, that's kind of illegal, right? Because they pay the taxes, you give them a refund because that means they paid too much taxes, and then now you're gonna tax them again on it. So the IRS said, no, can't do that. So it just changed, right? So now You don't have to count it, right? And you just can kind of toss it out. That's a big tax implication for a company like our school, right? Or for you individually, right? Because now that's gonna lower your taxable income. Because now I don't have this, however much I got, say you got $10,000 back last year from California. Now you have to pay taxes on it again, I have to pay $10,000 on the refund that I got this year. Don't have to do that anymore, okay?
That makes a lot of companies like move from the country to another country.
Yeah, that's
Like-
exactly
like,
why.
Why is that Dubai now is like the most popular city in the world? Because the income tax there is zero.
Mhm. And they, I mean, and they also build the place up for, business green zone, business zone, like they have in Iraq and most of the countries in the Middle East have a green zone or a business zone where they go.
That's make
Hong Kong, is the biggest business or green zone that we have, right? But yeah, Hong Kong, yeah. Yeah, well, for right now, it's probably gonna change here in the next 6 months to a year, because once China kind of gets their way, Hong Kong's not gonna be Hong Kong anymore. Hong Kong's a free zone where everybody can do business, doesn't matter where you're from. The official language is English there, okay, and money, and you see a lot of things there, but China wants Hong Kong back now. They want Hong Kong to follow Chinese rules, where Hong Kong was its own thing before, okay, because the British gave it back in 50 years, all this other nonsense, right? But the Chinese want it back, right? So that's the gap analysis, okay? All right. Okay, so cultural wear, definitely, right? So when we look at different cultures and kind of the values and the things that we deem important, right? The things that are important here in the United States to people are not important maybe to other people in different countries, okay? The way we eat, the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we deal with our elderly folks, the way we go about education, right? And just the way we, freedom of speech, all that stuff, right? It's all cultural. Okay, and so that's another model, another way in which to look at your organization and say, do I need to change in order to be successful in my business, right, from a cultural standpoint? And if you stay in the United States or domestically, no, probably not. But if you ever plan on going global, and you plan on being a multinational corporation, you better believe you're going to be looking at your organization from a cultural aspect, okay? Because something as simple as a color, something as simple as a logo can make your company ineffective. Remember when we talked about Canada and Walmart last week? All right. That's a cultural failing. Okay. They did not do a proper analysis on how Canadians would accept Walmart, right? Because they didn't really understand, like at the core, what is Walmart representing? Walmart's representing low price items that are still quality, but at a low price based on volume, right? The fact that Walmart can sell a bunch and that's how they make their money, cool. They didn't work that way for the Canadians. They saw it as being below them, okay? Nobody's going to Walmart, because if I see you going to Walmart, I'm gonna talk about you tomorrow, okay? I'm gonna come to work, I saw you at Walmart, you buying shampoo, okay? You must be poor. You must not have any money. I'm gonna give you a loan. Okay, that's how they viewed Walmart. So Walmart's out. Okay, Walmart's about to close, and I'm gonna send this article out maybe. Walmart's about to close 10 Walmarts in Oregon. They're closing 8 to 10 Walmarts in Oregon, right? Because they're not doing well, and they didn't really do a good analysis of what the market could support there. Okay? One of the most important things for an organization and its success is understanding the demographics of your community, understanding your market, okay? Understanding that you may have to tweak things in order to be successful in different places. Hence, this is why McDonald's is different here than it is in Europe or Japan. Okay, wherever McDonald's are at, right? And McDonald's is very, very good at this, right? Burger King is, so is KFC, right? But It's actually like what, and who's been to Japan here? I think I asked this question before. Anybody been to Japan here before? No, okay, so, yeah, Japan, so y'all know. In Japan, you know, for Christmas, it's a big deal to go to KFC. You have to make reservations, and they get dressed up and they go to KFC for Christmas dinner. It's a big deal. Yeah, but the menu doesn't have the stuff that they have here, okay? They got like Peking duck.
And that's happened with me when I came to the McDonald's here.
It's different, huh?
Yeah, it's totally different.
Totally different, right?
Yeah,
Because culturally speaking, most of the things on McDonald's menu here, you're not gonna eat, right? None of it's halal.
no big tasting.
No, yeah, no big tasty, right? None of that, right? So there's a difference, right? But McDonald's made a conscious effort to change whenever it went because they realized that for me to be successful, I have to adhere to the custom and culture of the community I'm in. I just can't go and say, well, this is how they do in America. Yeah, you know, hamburger is not gonna work in India. Right? Beef is not gonna work in India. It's bad, right? Bad news. Because the cow is sacred, so they're not gonna mess with that. Okay?
They don't believe in India?
No, the cow is sacred.
Hello?
The cow is a sacred animal.
I know,
Just
but I thought there's some areas, some places in India,
Yeah, I think they're wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they're wrong.
I've been there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like illegal ways still goes, but legally nobody can.
Nobody can do, it, right? Yeah. So McDonald's is going to change up their menu.
Some like 60%
Most of
don't
them
even
are
eat chicken.
vegetarian.
Most of them are
Vegetarian, yeah. It's just a different culture, right?
Even
Different.
I was not able.
Huh?
I was not eat chicken.
Oh, really?
When I just moved there, I started.
Yeah.
I eat everything. Okay.
And again, this is also applying for the automotive sector. for-
Yes, absolutely.
When they provide the America, they are totally different than our.
Absolutely. Yeah, the cars, yeah.
clients, you know,
Hmm.
may also the what? Okay, so the cars here are totally different than what we see in our countries. Of the paint, of the motors, of
Yeah.
everything.
Parts of regulations, other bit is,
They do it fit to our using,
right.
yeah,
It fits to your culture, right?
yeah.
And there's other, economic considerations that go into, right, the price of gas, that kind of thing, the use, right? How much you actually use the car, safety, how far out you are, so there's a bunch of stuff that goes, but you're right.
Also, the same as my friend said, the regulations of the country. In
Mhm.
England, the steering will be steering wheel.
Yeah,
will be
on the right hand, right side, yeah. Yeah.
And in the UAE, the car built like there are cars just for the UAE
Yeah,
because the warm and
Right.
yeah.
it's the same, it's the same everywhere, stick to car manufacturers, right? Every car, every country has different cars, so I used to work for Toyota. The cars that we had here were not the same cars we sent to Africa or Mexico, but the way that Toyota is set up, it's set up that way. Toyota is set geographically. There's Toyota North America, there's Toyota South America, Toyota Africa, Toyota, Europe, there's Toyota, Australia. So they have different, segmentation, but it's based on geographic region. So that they can focus on, hey, what kind of cars we need to build, although we're using the same resources, right? The car's pretty much the same. There's a few tweaks here and there we have to change, right? Steering wheel on the right hand side instead of the left. The gas tank on this side instead of that side. Smaller cars, right? In Europe.
Thickness of the body.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everything, right?
Different options.
Different options,
Yeah.
different emission standards, right?
Camry, in Middle East options, here options.
Right, exactly, right? So there's different things that you have to kind of figure out as far as culture goes and making sure that you understand if that model is going to work for you, right? And especially if you're going to go abroad and trying to build a footprint in a different country, you have to understand what that country is about, right? What the people are like, what do they like, what they don't like. Do they actually you know, I was saying when I was in Italy, and I've been to Italy a couple of times, but the first time I went, I didn't really think that they took siestas. Like, I didn't think they really closed the stores and then went to sleep in the middle of the afternoon. Like, you're not making any money. But nope, 1 o'clock, everything shuts down. Come back at 5. Okay? Yeah, come back at 5. Right? It depends. Some they're all different, but for the most part, they do take, and it depends. Like sometimes certain areas, like if you go to Rome, yeah, not so much. They don't siesta too much. They basically stay open. But Florence, like Puglia, you know, Sicily, they do their siestas. Was that? Yeah, they lock up the store and they go hang out with their families. You would never see that here in the United States. Okay? You get fired, shot. So many things that happen to you in the United States. You try to lock the door, say, I'm gonna go hang out with my family for lunch. You're gonna take a nap, huh? Okay, don't come back. That's what's gonna happen, right? So you have to understand that it's just a model. It's just a way to look at certain things. But again, depends on the situation, right? Where you going with it, okay? Okay, that's all I got for tonight. Make sure, go back and review chapters 3 and 4. There's like maybe a few more slides left, but not too much more, okay? Any questions about anything? All right, next week, title justification is due. All right, so make sure you look at the portal. And I'm gonna change up the groups just a little bit because apparently we dropped some folks. We don't have as many people in the class as we did before, so I need to change the groups up a little bit. So it should be, might get one person extra in your group. I don't know, I have to figure it out, but it's probably gonna be 3 groups of 4. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep it the way it is for the most part. Then I need to add a couple people here and there. Okay,
Where's the group for
the case study.
case study, right?
Let's do week 5.
Week 5?
Week 5.
All right.
Yeah, but you have a group that you need to get with before that. Try to figure out what, you know, which case study you want to do and, you know, how you guys gonna divide the work up and all
Well,
that stuff.
last week, I don't know when we start the class, so I didn't attend that
Same time. But
last week.
what do you mean? Oh, just go to the portal. I have the video up there. Yeah, just watch the video and you'll see, but you'll find, you'll be able to see the groups on, week 3, I think, maybe. Yeah, week 3, you should be able to see your group. All right, but I'm gonna go in and fix it and that kind of thing, have new groups. Okay, any other questions? All right, make sure you do your LE, knock your quiz out, and, let's keep on moving, all right? All right, see you guys next week. Thank you. What's up?
Namaste. I'm
Yeah.
thinking that the first class attendance.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I think it's like.
Yeah, I think you're good. Yeah, you're good. If you send me